Good evening, everybody. This is Paul Koch. I'm the chair of the North Andover Zoning Board of Appeals. This is our meeting of June 22nd, 2021. First item on the agenda, we'll certainly get into more, is the call to order, which is what I just did, and pledge of allegiance. If everyone would please rise, stand, and recite the pledge with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. The next quick item on the agenda is to get a roll. Going up the roll, Frank Killalay.
Here.
Steve Seide is absent for the evening. That's excused to the extent it matters. He let us know in advance. Michael Liss.
Here.
Alexandria Jacobs.
Here.
Ellen McIntyre.
Here.
Alan Kusha.
I'm here.
Ron Fagan.
Here.
And of course, I am here. The next item on the agenda is announcements and procedures. First, I'm going to recite the supplemental announcement regarding COVID and remote meetings. Everybody who's been here before knows that this takes a few minutes, so just buckle in, maybe play Tetris on your phone. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's July 2nd, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Town of North Andover Zoning Board of Appeals will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of North Andover website, www.northandoverma.gov. For this meeting only, members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so on their televisions by tuning to North Andover GovCAM Comcast Channel 8 or Verizon Channel 26 or online at www.northandovercam.org. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Town of North Andover website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive records or proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. If the public would like to participate in public hearings, please email your question or comment prior to or during the meeting to the zoning administrator, Jennifer Battersby. The email address is jbattersby, BATTERSBY @northandoverma.gov. The question or comment will be read during the proceedings and responded to accordingly. A copy of the application and supporting documents are on file in the Zoning Board of Appeals, 120 Main Street, North Andover, Massachusetts, and may be viewed on the Town of North Andover website at www.northandoverma.gov. So there's the governor's recitation. Next, I just say a few things, some ground rules and observations that these remote meetings are unsatisfying and a cumbersome medium for everybody. So anybody who's feeling discomfort, you are not alone. We are using some phone lines, and this is being recorded. This is a public meeting of the North Andover Zoning Board of Appeals. So if you don't want to be recorded, kindly hang up your phone. When you're not speaking, please mute yourselves. Google Meet, mute, unmute button on your telephone is *6. After *6, then you can use your physical mute on your phone if you're doing so. Any paper shuffling when you're not speaking, any paper shuffling, clicks of the keyboard and mouse, even breathing, it all adds up. So kindly mute yourselves. Again, that's *6 on your phone. On the other hand, when you are speaking, then the closer you can get to the microphone, the better. Second recitation is the Google Mute, unmute is *6. Once you've unmuted your Google Meet, then please feel free to use your phone's local mute, unmute function. Finally, as a couple matters of procedure to demystify the votes of the board, all motions are made in the affirmative, meaning that the motion is made to grant the relief. In other words, motions are not made to reject or disapprove. This does not signal the board's disposition on any matter, is merely a matter of procedure. Furthermore, variance and special permit matters all require a supermajority to pass. If 5 members are present and voting, such as tonight, then a matter needs 4 votes to pass. If only 4 members are present and voting, then a matter needs all 4 votes. It must be unanimous if there are only 4 members voting to pass. Anything less than 4 in a matter is rejected, and rejected matters require a 2-year waiting period before refiling. Now we're moving along on the agenda. The next item is the acceptance of the minutes. Is there a motion handy for the minutes of last month?
I make a motion to accept the minutes of last month.
Thank you, Alan. Motion made. Is there a second?
I second.
I think that was Michael.
It was.
Thank you. Motion made and seconded by Michael. Let me go up the roll. Was everybody here? No, Ron was not here. So let's start with Michael.
Aye.
Alexandria.
Aye.
Ellen.
Aye.
Alan.
Yes.
And I am an aye, so the minutes are accepted. Moving on to, what did I do with it? Sorry, everybody. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, which I know by is just a continuation of 1740 Turnpike Street. Do we have anybody from the applicant here tonight?
Yes. This is Jack. We also have Matt Rosetta. He's the owner of Superior Rate. Rick Vale is the landlord, and Bob Machad is the representative from the sign company who we've hired to put in the sign.
Thank you. And just for the record, Jack, your last name?
Crehan.
Thank you very much. So I'm just going to kind of be a little bit open-ended. I know that we had, a hearing a month ago. There were some questions. You were going to do some follow-up. So why don't you tell us where you have been in the last month and where we are today?
Sure. So I went back, listened to the recording, got all the questions that you guys had. I went through all that, got some additional drawings, delivered all that to Jennifer maybe end of last month. So there's a couple pages that are new in addition to the original variance application. So I'll just kind of go through those and if there's any questions at the end, feel free to answer those. The main piece is the dimensional chart, which outlines that the sign is going to be 6 feet tall total, including the posts. The posts are going to be level with the top of our sign piece. There's going to be a 3-foot airspace initially at the bottom, from the ground to the bottom of our piece of the sign. And there's going to be a 3-foot sign by 75 inches wide. The posts are going to be 8 by 8 granite, and the material is going to be PVC. So that's, you can see all the dimensions laid out there. One by one, the questions that you guys had that I think you guys should have in front of you, and I have the answers highlighted in red. How tall is the sign? We're going 6 feet tall for the top as well as the posts. I think I mentioned the 3 feet piece. We have a void in that diagram that's 1 foot by the width of it. If a new tenant were to occupy that space and applied for a variance and filled that, the total size of the sign would be 25 square feet, which would be similar to what the guidelines are for a business zone, which was the idea of how this sign was designed. What are the posts made of? They're granite posts. How deep into the ground will they be? They're going to be 4 feet into the ground. This is all stuff that I relayed to Bob from the sign company. He gave me these answers. They'll be secured by concrete. The thickness of the sign was a question. That's going to be 19 millimeters, which is about 3/4 of an inch. The width is 75 inches. There is no lighting, and the material is outdoor rated PVC, and it's going to be laminated for protection. So those are the basics of the sign. Size, the location is on the diagram where you enter the parking lot. There's a spot to the left. It's actually going to replace an old temporary real estate sign, which was within the zoning bylaws. So we're just basically replacing that old sign. And the last piece was to get an idea of what else is in the area. So I think I put maybe 5 or 6 signs with the square footages, the heights, and you can see that most of them are over 25 square feet. And some of them are very tall. So we're definitely within a reasonable size. I think the one that's most similar is the 5th sign, which is the TSD. You can see it has granite posts. It's about The actual size of the sign is 3.5 feet tall and it's 5.5 feet wide for the actual sign part where you can see the TSD. So it's about 20 square feet. So that's the most similar sign to what we're applying for. And we think that it fits kind of the overall feel of the street, and, you know, it'd be good for it, would be good for our business. And I think that's basically it in terms of the questions that were outstanding. So I'll try to answer anything that you guys still might have. Rick, who's the landlord, and Bob from Fast Signs might be able to answer any questions that you guys might have as well.
Thank you very much for that, Jack. I always appreciate when people review the tape and actually tick things off one by one with specificity and completeness. So at a minimum, I appreciate your efforts on that one.
Great.
With that opening comment, anything from the board?
My question is there only one tenant in there now and you're having space for an additional 3 tenants?
So there's 2 units. When we designed the sign, we had in mind that, you know, if we're going to try to keep it in 25 square feet, which other tenants or properties in the area are zoned for, we wouldn't take up the whole piece. We take up about 3/4 of the property. So we took up about 3/4 of that space. We left a void there below our piece, the superior rate mortgage piece, the 1 foot tall by 75 inches wide. If a new tenant came in, that they could do that and still be in reason, although it might be a variance. You know, we thought that would be an appropriate amount of space.
I don't think you need a variance for adding an additional person on a sign. When a tenant changes, I think once you have the space, I mean, the relief, I think you're fine.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but I don't think you do.
I don't know for a fact either, Ellen, but I certainly share the sensation. We don't necessarily see folks that come in just to, you know, swap out panels on signs. If there's a complete sign redesign or an expansion of the sign, that's something that comes in. But I don't think the landlord would need to come in just to put a name to a face there on that bottom section, or in the event superior rate leaves and need a new tenant. I don't think you've got to come in for anything.
All right, great.
How you doing? This is Rick. I manage the property. I just wanted to make it clear too. I also pulled the call, last call, and there was some questions about another sign. We would only allow one sign, a nice clean sign on the property as displayed in front of us. I know that you'd need another variance, but this is the only sign we would allow.
So Rick, thank you for attending. I don't remember anybody from the landlord side being here last time, but I may have been a little bit frazzled. In any event, I appreciate you coming tonight because it gives me an awful lot of comfort that a tenant's not coming in and, you know, getting some sign permits, and then the landlord ultimately ends up surprised at, you know, what they got or what they did not get. So I appreciate your attendance and comments tonight.
No problem. I was able to pull the call on YouTube, did a little research, and just wanted to make sure we had all the information ready for you as well.
Thank you. Any other board members?
I just have one question. So did you guys change the sign from what it was at the last meeting? And I only ask because I'm looking at the Fast Signs drawing, and it says on the note section, 223 change design completely, had to start over, leaving the 12 by 75 at bottom will be a separate piece. But now on the new Fast Signs drawing, it seems like that 12 by 75 is now going to be empty airspace.
Yeah, so the original sign, the sign that we're proposing is 36 inches by 75 inches. And any previous revisions were older. You know, we tried to, you know, take the feedback and make it as detailed as possible. We did have a couple of revisions with Bob along the way, but the one that was dropped off with Jennifer most recently at the end of the month is the one that we're applying for. You know, 6 feet tall, 75 inches wide with the 8x8 posts. Our piece of the sign is 36 inches by 75.
Okay.
This is more a question for other members of the board who might have longer institutional memories than I do. But all of these other signs that are on 114, and certainly like if you drive down 114, there's a lot of fairly big signs. Were these all signs that also received variances? Were they grandfathered in? Is it like a slightly different zoning over those areas? Because, you know, there's a big difference between 2 square feet and 25 square feet, and an even bigger one between that and some of these signs.
So I don't think that I necessarily have any institutional memory on that one. What I do remember, however, from the application, and I think part of the applicant's presentation last month, and I will certainly rely on the applicant to correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm routinely mistaken in my memories. But there's like this little pocket of zoning in which this lot falls. The rest of the street, or maybe not the rest of the street, but the surrounding areas of the street are some business zone, whereas the applicant's parcel is in. This is where I might just rely on Jack. You guys are in what, a residential something, or?
It's not like a regular R1. It's what it is village residential. So even though it was, you know, a Girl Scout house and now an office building, you know, the old zoning is what shows on the card. I looked up multiple addresses down the street, some of our neighbors included, and further down. And those, I don't know if they were B1 or B2, whatever it is that would be a business zoned, that I think initially when I spoke to the town in terms of what we'd be looking for, assuming what we thought would be in that zone, we thought we could go up to 25 square feet. So a lot of our neighbors on that street, and you know, you can see up and down, have that zoning. I did look up a few of the cards.
Understood. Thank you. So this is more about this being an unusual pocket of zoning relative to the street than, okay, so your property is zoned differently. Did it need a variance in order to become a business in the first place, or is that part of the village residential districting?
No, we just came in as a tenant in January. You know, it's a nice office building. We enjoy the space.
Rick might know that answer. We wouldn't know that.
Right.
Rick,
Can you ask a question again?
Oh, so this building, is it zoned this way per the village residential, or has it been granted some kind of special variance in order to be a business where it is?
In the past, it was a Girl Scout building. There was a larger sign in place. In the past, we do have some emails about zoning. I could look that up, but it's zoned on the North Andover town website as village residential, as I see.
Right. No, I understand that. I'm spacing out here, but the village residential district, I don't recall it normally allowing office buildings. So I'm just curious as to what was done there, if there have been some kind of change specific to that site.
I can look I don't know off the top of my. We passed everything that to code everything that we need on our end to get approval to have office space there.
It was a business prior to. It was a Girl Scout, I believe, headquarters in Massachusetts. So I don't know if that'd be considered a business, but that's what the deal was before Rick bought it. I'm a North Andover resident, so remember.
So yeah, I'm looking at the bylaw now, and there is a village commercial district, and that's I think what I was looking at. Okay.
Yeah.
That building may have been there before that zoning was passed. And
Okay.
maybe that's why it's there. I don't know. I'm not certain though.
It's been there for over 40 years, so that may be the case.
Any other questions from the board? Seeing and hearing none, maybe I'll punt over to Jennifer. Jennifer, have you received any remote comments, questions, or ideas?
No, I have no comments.
Thank you. Well, if the board has exhausted its questions, perhaps I will ask Mr. Clerk to poise for a motion while we go through anything else here. Anything else from the board?
I think I'm good. I'm glad that they went through and answered all the questions and all the concerns that we had. And like you said, Paul, they took the time and did the video. Thank you for that.
Yeah, got it.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Is there a second? Well, I guess it's close the public comment, lest there be some confusion. The motion to close public comment, and then the board will move to
Excuse me, I make a
deliberations.
motion to close public comments.
I'll second
Thank-
that, Alan.
Motion made and seconded by Ellen. I'll go up the roll again. Michael?
Aye.
Alexandria?
Aye.
Ellen?
Yes.
Alan?
Yes.
And I'm an aye as well. So motion passes with the public comment is closed. The board shall deliberate. Any thoughts for each other, board members? I will just to fill the silence, and for no other reason, I'll fill it quickly. Look, I'm much more comfortable with what we had before us than what we had last time. It felt like there were as many questions as answers last time. And so I'm appreciative of the applicant's efforts to review the questions, solve them, and present them, dimensionally and graphically here. That goes an awfully long way to giving me comfort that what we're talking about, what I'm talking about is what everybody else is talking about. So aside from the procedural stuff, substantively, this looks granite posts, PVC panels. I mean, this is as kind of simple a sign as we can, imagine, simple and classic. So there's not a lot in the way for me on the path to an approval.
I guess the weird thing, and I'm sort of staring at the zoning map here, and like I feel like in terms of does it fit in with the surroundings, because so much of the area around it has business district type stuff where you can have a larger sign. It fits in perfectly with all of that, and I have no problem with it from like a just simple eye test, like does this feel out of place point of view. It is kind of weird how we've zoned the area, and like honestly, like I almost feel like this is maybe something that like that should be addressed by planning and by town meeting, is like maybe we shouldn't be having these rules. But it does seem weird that we have the zoning this way, and I don't know what that means in terms of us and how we think about this, but I'm inclined to say yes, just because, like I said, it sort of just passes the eye test as something that works fine. But it seems odd that we have it set up this way.
Thank you, Michael. Well, I'm looking at the zoning map as well, and that certainly is an interesting intersection based on the colors and the type of zoning in the blocks at the end of Colonial, between Colonial and Berry. There are a handful of different colors. But as you pointed out, it's certainly not something that the zoning board we can talk about, but certainly nothing that we can change. Any other board members? Comments, questions for one another? All right, seeing and hearing none, shall there be a motion, Mr. Clerk? Motion regarding the application.
I would like to make a motion to grant a variance pursuant to Town of North Andover zoning bylaws, section 195-6.6, permitted signs in the VR zoning district for the purpose of allowing an 18.75 square foot sign specifically Applicant has requested a sign size needing a relief variance of 16.75 square feet. The sign size proposed is 18.75 square feet. The sign size required is 2 feet. And I'd like to make mention of a diagram that has been submitted by Fast Signs, file number 2219-7555, dated 2/4/21.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan.
You're welcome, Mr. Clerk.
I get motion made. Is there, you know what? Maybe I should.
Did you just call our chair the clerk?
Yes, I'm sorry. My mistake.
I'm going to
Mr.
just need to
Chairman.
go out of bounds here. I think that I'm clear from earlier, but I want to confirm before we actually go through the motion approval and then we get to decisions and all that kind of stuff. So before the horse fully leaves the barn, I just want to ask the applicant that the relief that is stated here for the purpose of allowing an 18.75 square foot sign, now you're needing a relief variance of 16.75. Are those accurate dimensions?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you for putting me at ease. So with that, the motion is made by Mr. Kusha. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Michael. Motion made, motion seconded. Going up the roll. Michael,
Aye.
Alexandria,
Aye.
Ellen,
Aye.
Alan,
Yes.
and I am an aye. So the variance is approved unanimously. Thank you all for your time and attention.
Thank you very much.
Now there is
Thank you very much.
brilliant. Good luck to the applicant. Thank you. What did I do with the?
Are we good?
Yeah, the applicant is all set.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you very much
Thank
for coming
all of
tonight.
you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time.
Good luck.
All right,
Bob from
Bye-bye.
Fast
Thank
Signs,
you.
I want to thank you as well.
brilliant. Our pleasure. Next item on the agenda is just miscellaneous correspondence regarding from community housing. There is no response and John speaking, no explanation, just noting it for the record. And then finally, if there's a motion to adjourn, we'd love that.
So moved.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh boy, Alexandria jumped right in there. Let's give the motion to Alexandria. And Michael, do you want to second that?
I'll happily second.
Motion made and seconded. Going, I keep putting the list away. Going up the roll. Frank,
Yes.
Alexandria,
Yes, yes, yes.
Ellen,
Yes.
Alan,
Yes.
and let's go with Ron.
Yes.
Brilliant. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Good
everyone.
night.
Thanks.
Bye.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Paul, are you still there?
I'm here. Yes,
Night
sir.
all.
Paul, are we having a meeting in the month of July?
No, we generally have July off.
I'm just double checking to make sure that I'm on the same page.
I will, thank you for asking. I will confirm with Jen and ask her to send something around to remind us or confirm with us that there's no meeting in July.
Okay, and then the other question I have would be, we're gonna see how the cards play out about the August meeting being live or remote, correct?
Yeah, we got a little bit of work to do on that one.
Right, okay. Very good, I'm good.
All right. Thanks, Alan. Good night.
Yeah, thank you, good night.